not a brush, that's a freaking push broom. There's no difference, man. Now's not the time to do this. We got enough unrest and bad things happening without you opening your stupid mouth. Nobody cares what you have to say anyway. Anyway, a man faked his wife's disappearance so she could avoid prison.
Well, that's interesting.
It's like faking death.
Who's ready for some sexy news?
Uh-oh.
Megan, where you at?
Judge clears man who broke into wrong house to fulfill client's BDSM sex fantasy. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Everything But the Podcast. Why do I always say episode wrong? I say everything. It's like one time I said episode. This time I think I just said epidode. I don't know what I said.
Just redo it.
Nah, I'm just gonna leave it. As you can hear, Twisted Joker is with me, and our new permanent co-host for as many episodes as she can get on anyway. She is very busy. But Leslie from All Things Paranormal is with us again. We have introduced her to the team. She is now one of the co-hosts of Everything But the Podcast. A little bit of self-promotion that I want to do at the beginning of the podcast. I did create a Patreon account, patreon.com/TonySaurusRex. Be sure to check that out if you're looking for exclusive podcasts or videos, because I'll be uploading more content on that are exclusive to that will not be found anywhere else. Leslie, promote your YouTube too, so I'm not the only one promoting.
My YouTube is All Things Paranormal Leslie.
There you go. Make sure you go and check that out. We've got a lot of stuff on the menu for today. On the menu? What are we serving diners now?
Hey, I'm all about food. As long as there's chicken and fish.
Yeah, and you work at a restaurant, so I guess I could still say what's on the menu for today.
Yeah.
First of all, I've been hearing a lot about these so-called murder hornets. I don't know how true it is, but I've been hearing it like everywhere lately. Have you guys heard about this?
I have, yes.
What do you guys think about it? Okay, well, let me tell Leslie what it is first, and then I want to get your thoughts. Apparently, they're calling them murder hornets. They've arrived in North America. I think they're saying that they're originally from Africa, maybe, or something like that, but they're saying that they're, like, very deadly. Asian giant hornets. They can grow up to 2 inches long, and they kill about 50 people every year in Japan. So, now we've got hornets from Japan somehow making their way over to the U.S. It says they were discovered in northwestern Washington state last fall, a few miles north of where a beekeeper found thousands of his bees decapitated.
Interesting.
These mortar homies. First it's mortar, I said wrong, and then I said hornets wrong.
Totally butchering your words.
You just said butching. I'll wear it off
Butchering.
on my co-host. I wear off on Twisted Joker too, because we were talking earlier today and he messed up something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it says they reportedly use their sharp mandibles to chop off the heads of bees so that they can feed the thoraxes to their young.
What?
A hornet that's like 2 inches, though? Like, that's pretty freaking terrifying.
What are we on, Jumanji?
I don't know, but unfortunately, we're not doing video, so I can't show you the pictures of them.
I kind of feel like we are playing Jumanji right now with everything going on.
Yeah. Okay, here, Junichi Takahashi, a researcher in Japan, told the Times so this is from MSN News. I guess they told Times Magazine, maybe, that the murder hornets got their nickname because their group attacks can kill people. Multiple stings can leave a victim with an amount of toxic venom comparable to a snake bite.
Oh, crap.
Scientists fear the hornets could establish themselves and devastate bee populations in the United States, so they launched a full-scale hunt to track and control them. Twisted Joker, would you do a hunt for murder hornets?
Probably. That'd be fun.
Be an interesting job. I wonder how much the government would pay you to do that.
Yeah, I don't know.
It literally sounds like a movie, I want to talk about this, but I don't want to talk about this yet. But by the time people hear this, Popcorn Farts episode 2 is going to be out. So, episode 2 is Sharktopus versus Whale Wolf that Rebecca and I are going to be talking about. But it seems like they're trying to get the guy in that to hunt down the Sharktopus. It's really hard to pronounce, but he's a Sharktopus.
That's so funny.
Not hard to figure out from the title that it wasn't the greatest of movies, but there's a reason we're called Popcorn Fart. But I originally was just going to do the worst movies on there, but I decided recently that I want to do good movies too and kind of mix it up. So I may, on Popcorn Fart, change it up. So some of the movies that we put on there review may actually be good. But the first one we did was Ants on a Plane, which I don't think either of you listened to yet. Mr. Joker, I know it's on your radar because I told you about it.
Yeah.
And then the second one was Sharktopus versus Whale Wolf. And then I've got other stuff on the radar that I've seen. There was one I saw called that would be close to this that was called Tsunami. Like Tsunami. Yeah, with B-E-E as in bees.
Instead of like tsunami with water, it's like they tackle the bees.
Yeah, they did the bees. I couldn't get more than 5 seconds into it before I was like, I don't think I want to talk about this. So I canceled that one out. But anyway, yeah, so what are your thoughts on these murder hornets? Mr. Joker, you said you would join a hunt if it was available to you. It doesn't really, it just says that they've launched a full-scale hunt, but it doesn't give much information about it.
Well,
here it says, this is our window to keep it from establishing. Washington State entomologist Chris Looney. Dude, I literally had a friend in like in elementary school. His name was Mark Looney. And now we get a Chris Looney. I wonder if they're related. Well, Chris Looney said if we can't do it in the next couple of years, it probably can't be done.
Huh.
So, Twisted Joker, you better get on the hunt.
Right?
Get on the lookout.
Sounds like it's in another country, though.
I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. So, Washington State is where they're at, so, Leslie, I think you're pretty safe for now. You're a little too far south for that.
They wouldn't survive here with the heat and the humidity. Our humidity is awful.
Yeah, you got more to worry about with the gators.
Yeah, they're actually pretty cool pets.
Speaking of gators, Hitler's alligator dies in Moscow Zoo at the age of 84.
I didn't know he had one.
I didn't either, I just saw this on Weird News.
How is it surviving
okay, wait, this is actually
Germany?
Interesting. It's quote-unquote Hitler's at it. Well, it was actually in Moscow, so that would be Russia. Moscow's Russia, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Saturn the alligator was once a resident of the Berlin Zoo until the facility was destroyed in a bombing raid during World War II. And it survived through the bombing raid.
Wow.
Until the age of 84.
That's ridiculous.
Oh, there's actually a picture of it. The zoo said in an online statement that the alligator Saturn was a picky eater who loved getting massaged with a brush. Saturn was given the utmost...
with a brush.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's not a brush, that's a freaking push broom. There's no difference, man. Here we go. FMR manager of the Department of Defense Aerospace Threat Program, UFOs are real. Did you hear about this, Leslie? That the government has admitted to the UFOs being real during this whole pandemic when nobody's paying attention?
Yeah, and that goes back to my beliefs with, the extra, terrestrials and things that David and I were talking about on my live stream. Different dimensionals and the Watchers being released from Antarctica.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting because they're admitting to it now, but they're admitting to it at a time where nobody is paying attention because everybody's concentration is somewhere else. So
time to do it.
Let's just go ahead and sneak this out here. Nobody's gonna know. Nobody's gonna notice that we're saying.
Well, they have to come out about it, now.
Yeah, eventually, because all them other countries did too. I didn't even do I'll edit it in. I didn't even say we were doing weird news. I just went into it. So I guess I'm not going to do that weird growl that I usually do on that.
It's all good.
Let's see. Okay, that's too politicky.
Politicky?
Man, yeah, it's something about J.K. Rowling that did Harry Potter ticking off the internet. Oh, that's
Isn't she good?
Leslie likes her too.
Yeah, I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. Well, I mean, I don't really know if I like her, but I like Harry Potter.
You like the Harry Potter books, yeah. I like the movies and some of the... Well, it says that she ticked off the internet with an anti-trans tweet storm. What an idiot.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Especially nowadays when you gotta watch what you're saying, like, everywhere. Now's not the time to do this. We got enough unrest and bad things happening without you opening your stupid mouth. Nobody cares what you have to say anyway. Anyway, a man faked his wife's disappearance so she could avoid prison.
Well, that's interesting.
It's like faking death.
They allegedly pretended she plummeted from an overlook so she could avoid being sentenced on a charge of federal health care fraud later this month.
Wow.
Scientists learned how tiny critters make ocean snot palaces.
Ew.
Researchers say the so-called snot palaces could possibly help human construction if scientists manage to crack the mucus architectural code.
Interesting.
Sure, I'd love a house made of snot, please. It just sounds,
right?
Just sounds lovely. There you go, Leslie. The next apartment or house you move into is going to be made out of snot. How do you feel about that?
I'd rather stay with my ghost. Give me a house made out of ghost.
Oh yeah, we got to get to that today, Twisted Joker. Did you watch her new video yet?
I have not got the chance to yet. Sorry about that, but I planned on it.
You got to watch it. I guess after the episode, go and watch it because it's actually really creepy. I commented I think 6 comments on the video, but she moved in and her next door neighbor's place is already haunted. Let's see. It seems like no matter where you go, some place is gonna be haunted near you.
Yeah. So it's not just next door. It's actually my house as well. So we'll get into that when you're ready.
I was wondering if the two were gonna tie into each other.
Oh,
because
yes.
they're attached.
And then after my video was released, I text the link to my landlord, and he and his wife actually watched it together, and she called me, and she's confirmed a lot of things that went on in the video. So now, when they're finished with the renovations next door, because they're renovating it, in the video you can see everything's old looking and really wear and tear. So they're doing it like mine, making everything hardwood floors, and I wouldn't say white walls, but the beige color, and just brighten it up a little bit. And
right.
So she's like, yeah, when they're done, she's like, my landlord wants to give me access to go back, but his wife actually wants to join me, and I'll tell you why whenever you're ready to talk about it.
Well, I kind of want to talk about it, but I also want to get into some weird news. I want to do a segue.
Yeah, let's finish your weird news, and then we'll save that.
There's a lot. Would you rather deal with a ghost, or would you rather deal with an animal breaking into your house and stealing stuff?
The ghost.
There has been a monkey that broke into an ATM machine.
He braked it into an ATM.
Yeah. Well, the article is monkey breaks into ATM, so I just worded it wrong. It says he ripped open the bank machine outside a Delhi branch of the State Bank of India.
Well then. I guess you really wanted in there.
There's another monkey where monkeys steal coronavirus patient blood samples from lab tech in India. So monkeys are stealing everything from India, including blood samples and money. This is like a real life Planet of the Apes situation building up here.
Right.
This is creepy monkeys too. I've seen videos of them before where they move around like gangs. They just go in through windows and steal people's food. I saw a nature video about them one time.
Raccoons are good for that.
Yeah, raccoons, screw a raccoon. My mom used to love raccoons. She had statues of them everywhere, and I'm just like, I don't know why you like raccoons. Those things are terrifying.
I got to hold a baby raccoon at work the other day.
They carry rabies, Rebecca Ceratops just said.
Yeah, they do.
In the background.
Yeah, but they're kind of harmless. They're not like possums. Like our possums down here foaming from the mouth, and they weren't ready to attack. I've never seen a raccoon trying to attack people.
Who's ready for some sexy news?
Uh-oh.
Vegan. Where you at?
Judge clears man who broke into wrong house to fulfill client's BDSM sex fantasy.
Interesting.
So, obviously he was hired to break into somebody's house to do the sex fantasy, but he messed up the address and broke into the wrong house.
That's
Wow.
awesome.
And he got cleared. 22 teddy bears on a roller coaster are having the time of their fluffy lives. The Dutch theme park Walibi Holland put the plush bears onto its untamed coaster, and it looks like they're loving it. This is why, okay, next episode we gotta do video, so we can have pictures of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Do either of you enjoy Krispy Kreme?
Yes.
No.
Apparently, Florida police have used Krispy Kreme to lure a black bear off city streets.
Interesting.
The sugar.
We also have a feisty old Polish grandmother who's 103 years old, who not only beat the coronavirus, but then cracked open a beer.
Heck yeah.
What's the Joker? Is this the third time we've seen a grandma with alcohol on this show?
All about it, bro.
A 12-year-old boy remains totally calm despite the massive bear creeping up behind him. Here's a 6-year-old boy that cracked open a robbery case by reeling in a sunken safe from a lake. Okay. Now I'm beginning to think that if I was ever in battle, I'd want a bird on my side. Fearless bird stands up to a herd of elephants to protect its nest. It's a freaking crane.
They probably plucked out the eyeballs.
I know, but it's like one bird against the entire herd of elephants. And remember
Yeah,
what we
but the
talked about
birds
last
got
time?
wings.
That's true. But remember when we talked about those elephants that were just going on rampages, killing us?
Yeah.
Oh, here's some more sexy news. Go Topless Jeep Weekend leads to hilarious viral news report and 180 arrests.
What?
Video footage of an event on a Texas beach showed maskless people twerking, drinking, and standing way too close together. People are freaking weird.
Yeah.
Now, do you both remember the last time on the last episode that we did? It's been, I should also apologize that it's been, this is 3 weeks coming on our third week. Well, 2 weeks now since we've done an episode. We're trying to hopefully get back into doing it weekly, but there's so much stuff happens with everything going on, it's hard to keep track. But hopefully we're back on our normal schedule now. If you remember the cardboard cutouts, I don't remember, were they in South Korea that time too?
I think so.
Well, now a South Korean soccer team has used sex dolls to fill their empty stadium.
Interesting.
FC Seoul said it meant to add some fun in the no spectator match, but ended up apologizing. A man in the Netherlands had some pretty unusual new neighbors, and they spend most of the day just staring at each other.
What?
Yeah, I'm a little confused by that.
Yeah, that's a little weird. Let me click on that one and see. A Dutch man is living with that constant feeling of being watched because, for the most part, he is.
Oh,
it's a freaking... Really? It's not people. It's a Netherlands nature program that a Eurasian Eurasian eagle owl had nested in the planter just outside his third floor window. It then hatched 3 giant chicks. So it's basically owls. Hey, shut up! I don't want your stupid ad. Pop up off of here. So it was like 3 owls. I thought it was gonna be like actual people just staring at each other. Oh my goodness! Now I had to reload all these ads to find out where I was. 2 men rob a convenience store wearing watermelon rind disguises.
What? Wait. Watermelon rind disguises?
Yes, they put watermelons on their head to be their masks.
Wow.
Great.
That's awesome.
One suspected melonhead has been charged. The other is being sought. That's literally what it says. If anybody's wondering, I'm getting these off of HuffPost, which may officially be my new
Ooh, I like HuffPost.
I've never been to it before.
No, I've been on for ages.
Athletic Bobcat attempts oh my goodness. Athletic Bobcat attempts an Olympic-worthy leap over water.
Oh.
Holy crap. That's one that you need a picture for. Former world... Well, it shows him jumping from like one pier and it's like a long leap. Former world's shortest man regains his title.
What?
Edward Nino Hernandez of Colombia was first declared the shortest mobile male in 2010, only to lose the title to two others.
Wow.
Have you ever wanted to sword fight your ex?
No comment.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Kansan, who wanted a sword fight with ex-wife, deemed not crazy.
Wow.
A court-ordered psychological evaluation determined David Ostrom is not insane, but merely angry over their child custody arrangement. So angry he wanted to sword fight his ex-wife.
Wow, that's ridiculous.
What the heck? Singapore officials using robo-dogs to enforce social distancing in parks. Dude, that thing is creepy. The remote-controlled four-legged machine warns park-goers. For your own safety and for those around you, please stand at least 1 meter apart. Thank you.
Wow.
You can't read robot quotations without doing robot voice.
Alrighty then.
What are your thoughts on human urine?
What?
That's an actual question.
It's like an how do you call it? Antibiotic.
This is even more than what you think. Human urine could help make concrete on moon.
What?
The European Space Agency said Friday that urea, the main organic compound in urine, would make the mixture for a lunar concrete more malleable before it hardens into its sturdy final form.
Great, we're gonna be walking on pee.
Well, only if you're on the moon. If you don't have any plans on going to the moon anytime soon, I think you're alright.
They were talking about, if Earth ever gets destroyed, we could always go live on Mars.
How old? Yeah, this is true. How old was that kid on the last episode that was driving the car to like the dealership?
Like 12 or something like that.
I think it was younger than that. It was like
it might have been younger.
I wonder if this is the same kid because it says 5-year-old who steals parents' car gets rewarded with Lamborghini ride.
That might be.
Yeah, I'm over 5.
Okay, so we heard about the robot dogs enforcing the quarantine. How would you feel if Darth Vader was enforcing your quarantine?
Ooh, I would join the dark side.
Darth Vader enforces coronavirus lockdown in Philippines villages. Local officials dressed up as Star Wars characters to enforce strict quarantine measures while also handing out relief packages. Well, you shouldn't be using Darth Vader if you're handing out relief packages. That's kind of counter to his character.
A little bit.
Yeah, no, he's strictly just me.
Let's see. What? Who the heck is Alex Jones?
No idea.
He needs to be put in jail, bro.
What he did.
Alex Jones says he's considering eating neighbors if COVID-19 lockdown continues.
Well then.
It could be a sick joke.
Says, I'm ready to hang him up and gut him and skin him, the InfoWars conspiracy theorist said of his neighbors.
Well.
Unless he's really cannibal.
He could be. I mean, you never know nowadays.
Yeah.
Weatherman's dog crashes forecast and becomes the internet's new quarantine hero.
What?
The Tampa Bay weather dog. Hero cat alerts sleeping family to burning slow cooker. Joey, a cat in Canada, woke up his owner Sunday morning after the slow cooker caught on fire.
Huh.
I don't even know what to make of this. Trying to think would you rather watch horses race or turtles race?
Probably horses.
The Kentucky Derby fans can watch turtles race instead of horses this weekend.
Watch turtles instead of horses?
Yeah.
Oh, that might be interesting.
The Kentucky Turtle Derby will feature thoroughbreds like Sir Hides a Bunch, American Taruga, and Gallop a Go in the field. Now, I don't know when these are dated, because I just got into the one that was about the $1 billion jackpot lottery thing, the guy winning that twice.
Mm-hmm.
City official who tossed cat during Zoom meeting resigns from commission. I think he should be kicked in the balls.
Oh, poor kitty.
One-eyed squirrel with Instagram account is returned to nature. What is this? Florida police welcome to see this mat at home of suspected drug users. Come back with a warrant. It's a mat into the house that says come back with a warrant.
Wow. That's great. They knew what was up.
Twitter users speculate that this stranded kayaker might really be Bigfoot.
Really?
Maryland Police Department begs citizens to wear clothes in public. Apparently people have been going out naked. What else we got? I think that's about it for weird news. I'm pretty sure.
That's it?
British man thwarts lockdown by running marathon in backyard. Truck stuffed with toilet paper catches fire on Texas interstate. Wait, dog found behind wheel after a high-speed chase in Washington state.
What?
A very sweet pit bull was reportedly in the driver's seat after the car crashed. Her owner faces multiple charges. So maybe the person was driving, but then they put the dog in the seat when they tried to run.
I was thinking the same thing.
That's a little ridiculous.
A teen wrestling champ squashed a kidnapping by squashing the suspect that was trying to kidnap him. Man told to turn down music, chase neighbor with sword. I wonder if it's the same man that's trying to sword fight his ex-wife.
Probably.
Might have been.
Pablo Escobar's cocaine hippos may be restoring Colombia's ecosystem.
Not surprising.
Wait, cocaine ecosystem?
Cocaine hippos may be restoring Colombia's ecosystem.
Interesting.
Florida man arrested twice in 2 days for impersonating police officer. What else we got? Zerdan, the Sphinx cat, becomes internet's new spirit animal. On this faraway planet, the rain is made of iron. Suspected car thief tells police she's Beyonce.
Well,
spoiler alert, she's not.
Of course.
I bet not.
Upside down house attracts tourists to South African town. Tinder warns wannabe hookups to keep social distance. What? I guess people are still trying to hook up in quarantine.
It sounds pretty dumb.
Man who filmed himself licking ice cream tub gets jail time.
For what?
Oh. Because he's a disgusting creep that deserves jail time. The 24-year-old Texas man was sentenced to 30 days in jail for posting a video showing himself removing an ice cream container from a Texas market freezer, licking the contents, and returning the container to the freezer.
Oh.
Okay, it's bad enough that you're doing that, but you're moronic enough to film yourself doing it?
Yeah, really.
They still doing that. Everybody was doing that to what? The Bluebell? Opening it up and just licking it. It was like a thing before the virus outbreak.
Freaking disgusting. Freaking disgusting.
Yeah, people are stupid, man.
Kate Blanchett suffered a little nick to the head in a chainsaw accident.
A little nick to the head?
Yeah, she had a chainsaw accident and I guess cut her head.
Oh boy.
I was under entertainment because I ran out of weird news. All right, Leslie, it's time for your paranormal story that you were going to tell us. And then we'll get into some paranormal sightings and stuff like that.
Ooh. Pretty awesome.
Because I'm out of weird news.
All right, so what do you guys want to know?
Well, you were saying that you had something to tell us regarding your house being attached to your neighbor's house and ghosts in both houses. There's a relation there.
Yeah.
But first, why don't you tell the listeners about the video first?
Okay, so in the video, I go to my next door neighbor's house. So my neighbor, she stayed there for 4 years and she moved out, right? So I went to go pay my rent the following weeks. After she moved out, I went to go pay my rent. So I was meeting up with my landlord, and he kind of knew about me pursuing my YouTube career with the paranormal investigations. And he's like, we got to talking about it. That's what happened. I went to go to the firefighter, so I met him at the firehouse. And, I was in the area already because I was scoping out another location. And I'm like, oh, I'm already in the area, da, da, da. So that's when we got to talking. He's like, well, I left. He's like, I remember you mentioning something about that when you moved in. He goes, I left next door unlocked for you if you want to go in there and film. I'm like, okay. Well, I already knew when I moved into my house, because I had talked to him before, and how we got on the subject was, when I first moved into my house, I didn't have the electricity on. I saw the electricity on my old house, and of course I'm moving and I'm going to work for like 10, 12 hours. I leave work and I go to the gym about 3 or 4 hours. So I got off from the gym and I would come straight to my old house and move here. So I was like, go, 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 go. So I'm moving stuff, like I'm unloading the truck, like I'm by myself. I'm unloading everything that I could possibly move by myself into the house. And of course, you're kind of in between of, what people would think maybe you're delirious because you've been up for so long. And then you're going into your house, and of course it's dark, you can't see anything. I mean, this is how normal people would describe things, right?
Right.
However, it was different for me because my third eye is very open. I'm very intuitive. I'm very much awake. So I remember putting my last box into the house, and I was walking out of my door. I turned around and I looked. I was staring right down the hall. And I didn't say anything out loud because I didn't want to acknowledge whatever was here. I remember just staring down at my hall, like daring whatever was here. Like, yep, me and you are going to talk later. And I didn't, like I said, I didn't say anything. I went to my new house. I went to my old house. And I'm like, I was going to lay down, and I was like, yeah, my new house is haunted. I can't wait to see what's in there. And that's all I said. I said, yeah, it's haunted. I could feel him down the hallway because I felt to him.
Right.
Like, it's very dark, but I wasn't trying to pick up on exactly what it was. So after moving completely in, having the lights turned on, I had asked my next door neighbor before she moved, like, these places are haunted. Cause we're already in the old historic part of town. And she's like, oh yeah. She's like, Needle didn't tell you, which is my landlord. I said, what? She goes, your house is haunted. Someone died there. I'm like, what? She goes, yeah. She's like, my house is haunted too. And she told me, she let me in her house. And so she pointed out a man dressed as Mother Mary with dark black eyes would just stare at her. He's standing in this corner staring at her. And
that's crazy.
When she brought me in there, her side of the house, it felt very sickening. Like, it smelled, it didn't really stink, but, certain smells, like, trigger certain things, and I just remember feeling sick. Her house was, like, dark, it's gloomy, it was heavy. I was like, oh yeah, girl, whatever's here is in your part of the house. Like, I'm like, because there was a lot of negativity going on in her next door, like she was there for 4 years. She tried to get back with her ex-husband, ended up being really abusive. And, like there's broken glass from him knocking out the air conditioner window or whatever He's punched
Oh boy.
holes in the walls. I mean, it was like not, it was like a horror scene kind of.
Right.
And, I was like, okay. So I remember I went to go, like, yeah, it was my second month. So in April, I went to go pay my rent with my landlord. And that's when I had asked him, I'm like, if the house is haunted? And that's when he started talking to me. He goes, yeah, he's like, in some states, it's illegal to where you have to tell your tenant that it's haunted. In some states, it's not. Well, this state, it's not legal because, I mean, come on, it's New Orleans, right?
Yeah.
Like, everywhere you go is gonna be haunted.
Everything's haunted.
Yeah. So, he isn't just a firefighter, he's also a real estate agent, licensed real estate agent. So he's like, man, I wish, the neighbor, I'm gonna keep her name from being said. And he's like, I wish blah, blah, blah wouldn't have told you that and blah, blah, blah. So now I asked her, I said, because when I walked in, I said, I know it's gonna sound crazy to you, but I haven't physically seen a ghost since after I had
Hang
my
on,
daughter
Leslie.
in 2012.
Repeat that one section because you cut out.
Which one?
What you were just saying.
Okay, so I haven't physically seen a ghost, since I had my daughter in 2012, but I can see them through my mind's eye. Like, basically a psychic, since everybody thinks that, it's some sort of mediumship. Being psychic is like, there's different tiers, like different levels of it. And for me, like, I could pick up on it really quick. And, I'm like clairaudience and I wouldn't say clairvoyance, but definitely clairaudience, where like, I'll hear the voices or see the names, like it's appearing, like right above my eyes, kind of like where my forehead's at. I'll just see names go across, or I'll hear things. And, so I told him about that, and he's like, you need to contact my wife because, she's always being told by other psychics that she's psychic too. So we had a phone conversation maybe for like 2 hours, her and I, and that's when she explained to me, in my house, her grandfather was evil. He abused his wife and his children, torment them. I mean, child abuse is horrible. It's not just hitting a kid for doing something wrong. I mean, it's taking a belt maybe and hitting them across the face, or starving them just because it's like a power trip with control. And next door is where her other pawpaw died. It wasn't her birth grandpa, but before she got with her husband, who's my landlord, Paul, they used to go see him, and then she's like, he passed away in that apartment. So, she's like, and it's ironic that now that she got with her husband and he buys this place, and then her actual grandpa passed away. And she told me to be careful. She's like, because, Frank is the evil one. He is so evil that, and so, like, he's so much in torment that there was the person, so I live in a fourplex. Okay. So there's, downstairs, like there's 4 of us. So there's me at the bottom. It's like it's a shotgun double, but, it goes up top. So I have like me, my next door, and then you have 2 above us, right? And there was someone living above me. It was this little boy. And there used to be this black shadow that would just run down the hall and chase him. And
My
for
goodness.
example, yeah, he was like between 5 and 8. They moved out because of it. And that's why my landlord kind of freaked out a little bit about me asking about the ghost, because if I would move out because of that, I don't have to pay the rest of my rent that's in that lease, right? You can't come up with me for that because I'm being tormented by a spirit that you didn't tell me, even though it's not legal still.
Right.
So, she told me about that. I'm like, well, whatever. I said, yeah. And I got off the phone with her. I said, me and Mr. Frank, we're about to have a little chit chat. And, I let my kids come here and we did a vanishing and we vanished them. However, I could still feel him next door. And I told my landlord, I'm like, I need to go next door and get rid of him because that's where he's hiding out. So when he gave me access to the house and we went in there, all of the evidence that we captured, like, I'm thinking I'm not going to get that much, because I already did vanishing on him.
Right.
And, once I step foot into the house, he's going to be more afraid of me and not want to come out. I didn't think that he would be a little bit what we call ballsy and, like cussing and everything else. And then from the investigation, I kind of got deeper into it. Now I know, like, when you're that evil of a person in human form, when you pass away, you have the opportunity or the chance to become something different. You're not going to be, so if you were evil in life, you're going to be evil in death. So I believe that he has some kind of he turned into like a demonic being. And there are things that he was saying and doing that, only have the power of demonic. However, like the ceiling fan moving, the fly
That's the
trap in the
creepiest part
kitchen,
that I saw.
fly trap in the kitchen. But what got me was I'm standing there because I have no fear. I'm standing in both the hallways where I could see him like something I felt like, and I don't really specify too much on film because I'm trying to focus on keeping myself from going into a trance to where I
Right.
can full blown communicate with them and they can channel through me. So I didn't want to open myself up. So I'm keeping an eye on both the kitchen and the darker hallway. And I could feel the energy just bouncing from room to room. And then when I just so happened, I kept feeling it down the dark hallway and I'm thinking something's going to show. When I saw that head come out of the hallway, I was like, it was so surprising. Like, I haven't saw a physical manifestation since I had my daughter in 2012. So that caught me off guard. And I'm like, hello, Frank. I wasn't expecting you to be here. And as quickly as I saw it, it kind of like, he appeared in a circle, like his head was coming out of, like he was about to appear in full blown manifestation. And then he just kind of, went backwards, like he went back into the wall, which, I'm not going to run out the house, but I had no idea what was going to happen. Like he could have ran down the hall and like shut the door. I'm right here by the door. So, could have shut the door or, attack me or whatever. So I kind of hauled off by Rhonda for a second to regroup. And when we finally was able to go down the hall, and we went into the room and you could, on the camera, I didn't edit it out because I'm like, no, I'm going to keep it in here. I just wanted to keep playing where she's like, don't leave me, Leslie. And she leaves me behind. I'm stuck there in the dark room, like, right where I saw him. And my camera, like, you could tell, like, I was not, like, I dropped my camera. My camera just went from filming her to whoop, fell on the ground. So, wait, girl, my camera fell over. I'm like, you gonna leave me here by myself? Like, I really wanted to say, was you gonna leave me here by myself after I saw this thing?
Right.
Like, I don't think we're dealing with just a ghost here, or this ghost became something else. So, and then I feel like that Frank is so evil and powerful and controlling, even if he's in death, that he's probably controlling Paul. Paul wants to leave this place and he won't let him. So it's going to be interesting because when we do go back to round 2 and the landlord's wife, she told me how I described both Paul and Frank. I've described both of them on camera. It's exactly how they looked in life. And the pinstripe shirt that he wore to the boxes he wore, she said he always wore that. And that's pretty amazing because when I bring her back on with us, I never did an interview when I did my investigations. I've been on YouTube now for a year and 2 months, have almost 23,000 subscribers. Never once did I had the opportunity to interview somebody on the location or the history. So this is going to be really cool. It's going to be kind of like taking a note out of Ghost Avengers where I get to do my introduction, but allow her to take the floor and talk, And, I want her to confirm a few things. Like I have to go back in my video, watch it, take my own notes, and like I want you to confirm this or that. And then that way, when we get into the investigation, remind you, not everything that, goes on during the investigation, like you can't always hear the spirit box. Sometimes you gotta slow it down when you're editing to really listen to the words. So we're not always gonna hear that, so going back and reviewing everything, it's not till the video is actually released where you're like, oh my gosh, this adds up to that. And it's at that point, in that moment, we gotta go back for this, and we gotta go back for that. And in a way, it kind of sucks because if I would have heard all that in still time, I could have just, asked more questions or, done more things for more evidence.
Yeah.
But we're also I want to banish him now from that apartment. Like I have to put up my walls. I have to rebanish in my apartment, and I got to put the salt up. Now the white salt is good for your windows and your doors, but now I have to put it on the wall that divides my house and their house, because when you banish them, what's he going to want to do? Come through the nearest wall, which is my wall. And if he keeps going back and forth like that, you'll never get rid of him. So if I put up my block and trap him up next to the door, and when I go over there and we banish him, he has nowhere to go but up. He's got to go out.
Right.
So,
it's just crazy, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy when, you talk to people that really don't believe, but when you're dealing with it, it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this has actually happened to me. And since the investigation, little minor things have happened here in my house. That's why I know I haven't cleansed myself. And I haven't because I know I'm going back for round 2. So for me, it doesn't make any sense. I'm going to have to cleanse my house when I cleanse myself and put up my barricades so he can't come back in here, because when renovations are done, I'm going over there.
Right.
So I've had minor things. We're brand new, because my house is old. It is. We have window units, brand new window units. So everything in our apartments and our house is brand new. And my daughter, I left her here with my oldest the other night so I could go to the gym with my middle child. And I come home, her covers are kicked off of her, and the AC's off. And I asked my boys, my oldest who stayed here, the one that came with me, I'm like, you guys turn up the AC? Like, no. My daughter was cold that night. She was cold. So why would her covers, she's always like, me and her, when we sleep, we have to have the covers on us. And we'll wake up in the middle of the night and put them on us. So why does the covers look like she kicked them off? But I took it as, I'm staring at it for a minute, analyzing, cover her up, turn the AC on. And I already knew what was going on. And then I've been having, dreams. I had 2 dreams already about this demonic. Not he's attacking me, but kind of like a succubus dream. We're just gonna say that to keep it PG-13. And I'm like,
you saw that just reminded me. I left a comment on your video that said, "What is this, a succubus?"
Yeah, and I haven't told anybody. Yeah, I haven't said anything to anybody because I've never had that issue before, but I had a dream, demonic, dream that me and the demon, it went in left field. And I'm like, I wake up every day and I'm like, and it only happened twice, but he didn't come like dressed as an old hag or like a nice looking man. He was straight up in his demon form. So I'm like, what does this mean? What does this mean? And, I haven't had the dream after the second time, but I'm pretty much kind of like, I feel like I can not control my dreams, but I'm like, no, you can't come into my mind when I'm sleeping. You can't have that effect on me. And then, when my daughter, I had my kids go, they went back to bed.
Hold that thought, Leslie. I don't want to cut you off, but you got to go to work soon.
Oh.
So we got to continue.
Right.
We might have to continue the story on the next episode because we still want to cover the paranormal sighting.
Oh, shit. No,
I was trying to get to a perfect spot to where the listeners would be like, no, I want to hear more, and then entice them to listen to the next episode so they can hear the rest of what you have to do.
Yeah. I've like I said, I've been having more activity happen. Even last night, something else happened, and I'm like, oh crap, we need to hurry up and do this. I'm not cleansing my house until I'm ready to go next door.
Right.
So, but very quickly, I'm not gonna. There's something else that happened Thursday night with my daughter and I, and then last night I came home. I'm sitting on the sofa. Came home, went to work, went to the gym, and came home. And I kid you not. Like when you blow on your air conditioner, you can hear like breath, like human breath blowing into an air conditioner.
Right.
Well, my living room, the air conditioner's off. We have a tropical storm that it's been raining since last night. So our tropical storm is starting to roll in. So it's been raining. So I have the AC off because it feels really good outside. And I heard something blowing into my air conditioner twice. And it wasn't the wind because of the things I did to debunk it. I was like, this is insane.
My goodness. So now you got ghosts blowing over there.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds horrible.
Ghosts handing out free blowing by the air conditioner.
That sounds like a bad adult movie.
Yeah.
The ghost blower.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I could talk about the paranormal all day long, but the stuff that's starting to happen, like, in my house after the investigation, I'm like, okay, you know what?
Right. We gotta get into some of these paranormal sightings. Leslie, you're no stranger to haunted dolls. Because you own some haunted dolls.
Yes.
Have you any of your dolls, have you actually seen them move yet?
I have not.
Apparently there was a man home alone who actually filmed his haunted dolls moving on their own inside a glass cabinet.
Interesting.
I believe that.
I don't know when, this is another one where I don't know, it doesn't have dates on this stuff, so I don't know how old this is, but yeah, he actually caught him on film, so there actually would be a video of that too. Either of you...
They have them on YouTube.
Yeah, that one might be on YouTube, I don't know. Are either of you familiar with this freaking TikTok craze?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Are you familiar with TikTok, Leslie?
I am, but I do not have one.
I had one once at one point in time when I first started the YouTube. And it's up, the video is up on YouTube now of the Dalai Lama, the 30-second trailer thing. And I put it on TikTok just to see if I could garner attention to my YouTube, but I haven't been on there since. But apparently a 10-year-old girl who was shooting a TikTok dance video was visited by a ghostly white orb.
Oh boy.
What are your thoughts on cursed towns?
Oh, I know there's a couple.
There's a cursed town so evil that locals won't even say its name.
Nice.
Let's see, what does it say? Cursed town. Oh my goodness, get your stupid. I don't want to add you to my home screen. Leave me alone. Cursed town so evil locals won't say its name, and terrifying way it manifests in visitors. In southern Italy. Fun fact about Italy, I've once heard that Italy has the largest number of satanic cults in the world.
Yep.
Let's see, it says it's hiding a chilling secret so horrifying locals will only refer to the town as the village with no name. Voldemort lives there! Who must not be named! Calabraro is the name, I guess.
I think they spilled a lot of innocent blood there to recreate the manifestation to make it cursed. Cursed lands usually curse throughout people shedding enough blood.
Yeah, it says right here, it's said to be cursed with horrifying examples of ill fortune and bad luck befalling those within its walls. The legend of the curse dates back to the 1940s when the then mayor of Calabraro, Biagio Virgilio, is said to have proclaimed at a town council meeting, made the chandelier fall down if I'm not telling the truth. Seconds later, the huge chandelier above his head crashed to the ground, and since then, locals have believed he put a chilling hex on their hometown. Well, no, that he said made the chandelier fall down if he's not telling the truth, so that means whatever he was saying he was lying about, because the chandelier fell.
Yeah.
Ever since, villagers have believed in the curse, and since that fateful day, a number of unexplained tragedies have befallen those affected. They refuse to describe the town by its name. The village's infamy has spread far and wide. One local admits that when he was in a restaurant in a nearby city, people have moved away from him when they realized he was from Colabraro. The village's name itself is said to have a horrifying origin. It comes from the word Coluber, which means snakes, and some locals say it is a place where evil presences live.
That's
Not only
definitely
that,
interesting.
Not only that, but Colabraro has long been rumored to be the ancient home of Maschiare, or powerful women who work their magic using spells, the evil eye, and curses.
Well,
I believe that.
They were often treated as healers, with their neighbors going to them when they had certain symptoms like a headache and asking them to lift the curse. Some of them could work the cures, which further spread the rumors about their dark magic and powers. They used a mix of salt, which Leslie was just talking about, coal, and water, and would rub it on the affected person's forehead before throwing the contaminated water on a crossroads. The next person said to walk across the crossroads was then believed to be infected by the curse. While the Maschiare are said to no longer exist. Well, it could have been worse. I could have said, well, they're said to no longer fist, and then this would have went real bad real quick. While the Maschiare are said to no longer exist or live in the village, many fear their powers are still present. Only a few brave souls who will talk about these women. I'm trying to get more about these. There are unconfirmed reports of babies being born with 2 hearts or 3 lungs.
What?
Freakish landslides and bizarre accidents are also said to plague Colabraro, but the curse doesn't affect everyone. Only visitors to the village are believed to be prone to suffering the terrible consequences of Colabraro's bad luck. So only visitors. So I guess that means if you already lived there, you're alright? Like if you're an ancestor of the village, it says. As this person said, of course, considering my ancestry, I am immune to the jinx. These spooky things only happen to people who come here for the first time in their lives and who believe in the omen.
That's interesting.
It's borderline between Italy and Greek. I'm looking at it now, and it is very ancient hilltop. So anything could happen because my goddess that I worship is Greek. So I'm very much into Greek mythology. I believe all of it's real, and the Greeks do as well. And the Greeks and the Italian, kind of like the same thing. They also have gypsies there, which is kind of hardcore, you know, I wouldn't say Satanist, but they could basically summon anything. And, you know, Gypsy's curse is pretty fatal.
Yeah, so it could be the Gypsy's curse.
Maybe, a lot of gypsies were probably brutally murdered there at one point, and they hexed the land, of course, with their blood. And when you do any sort of blood magic, especially with hexes or curses, that's the top of the notch spells right there. There's no escaping that.
Would you ever travel overseas to investigate?
Here? Yes.
Yeah, I'm talking to you, Leslie. I mean,
I'm
Twisted
looking at
Joker
it
probably
now.
would too.
Oh yeah, that sounds interesting.
No,
Yeah,
I don't even mean.
witches
I don't
today.
even mean Italy. I just mean overseas in general.
They are lots of witch doctors, which is intriguing because I do want to find a witch doctor and let them school me in a way. I have a few things I'd like to do on my bucket list.
Right.
Before the world ends.
What about staying overnight in UK's most haunted village?
Yes. And Zach's coming with me.
Heck yeah.
There's a, Fluckley in Kent is said to be the UK's most haunted village with a whopping 15 ghosts and ghouls roaming the picturesque place.
Oh yeah, let's go.
Definitely.
I actually saw a picture on here earlier that looked like a face. Oh, here we go. Here's Highwayman Hauntings. With a name like this is all this UK place, so it's actually describing the different ghosts. So the first one is a highwayman. With a name like Fright Corner, it's unsurprising that this road in Pluckley is the site of one of the ghosts who is said to regularly appear. It's believed the highwayman was killed here in the 18th century. It's claimed he got into a fight with those in charge of keeping the peace in the village. They pinned him to an oak tree with a sword, and it's said that their sword fight is reenacted, always with the same consequence. So that sounds like a residual haunting.
Yeah, definitely does.
If it
It's
just
repeating
reenacted.
Mm-hmm.
It also says don't go in the woods surrounding the area. It might look like the perfect place for a sedate country stroll, but there are reports that Dicky Bus's Lane is anything Dicky Bus. Can we just comment on what a weird name?
Yeah.
Dicky Bus's Lane. Named after a miller, there are claims the corpse of a teacher who hanged himself have been seen. He is said to have taken his own life following World War I, and his body was found by Dicky, the miller the lane is named after, several weeks later. So that's the second ghost. Screams of agony. There can be few deaths as horrific as being crushed to death by a wall of clay, but for one unlucky brickworker in Pluckley, that's how he met his gruesome end. People claim to be able to hear his screams of agony from the site of the brickworks. You would need like a full team to investigate this place, because you'd have to investigate each area.
You can just
Or like a
go.
week-long investigation.
Yeah, one at a time.
Haunted horses. The sound of ghostly horses' hooves would definitely chill the blood, and people living in Pluckley have to put up with these regularly. Visions of a horse-drawn carriage along with the clip-clop of horses' hooves haunt Maltman's Hill, according to locals. A babysitter even reported seeing the coach as if it was real, with light pouring from its windows as horses pulled it along the street. And back in 1997, one driver almost crashed when they heard the clatter of hooves on cobbles on a tarmac road.
Huh.
This windmill is said to be haunted by its former owner. There's a picture on here that looks like a giant face on it, but I think it's matrixing.
Mm-hmm.
Red Lady in the Graveyard. You usually hear about White Lady. I've never heard about a Red Lady. So it must be someone in a white dress. Few places are spookier than a cemetery, and Pluckley's is even more terrifying than most. Lady Doring was buried in the graveyard of the local church St. Nicholas in the 1100s in a coffin made of lead with a red rose placed on top of her final resting place. There have been sightings of her, now known as the Red Lady after her rose, wandering the graveyard and wailing while she searches for the grave of her stillborn baby.
I think I heard that story.
That was only the 15. There's 15 in this location.
Definitely sounds like a place to go.
There's a menacing monk. A house named Greystones was always going to be imposing and threatening, and this one has its own ghostly monk for good measure. The house was originally built in 1863 and was called Rectory Cottage. I was automatically thought of rectal, which just threw me into as it was the home of the rector of St. Nicholas Church nearby. Nowadays, its most famous resident is said to be the ghost of a monk. However, since it was renamed, it says remained instead of renamed. Greystones, the monk seems to have hidden himself, as there have been no reports of unusual activity. So I guess they renamed itself and then the ghost disappeared. Here you go, Leslie, a gypsy ghost.
Cool.
Pinnock Bridge is the perfect spot to sit a while and take in the stunning surroundings, whether you're alive or dead. This bridge is said to be haunted by a gypsy woman who made her living selling the watercress she collected from the stream below. She has been spotted sitting on the bridge and smoking a pipe. It's believed to be the spot where she lost her life after being accidentally burned to death.
Accidentally burned to death.
Okay, if you accidentally catch yourself on fire, I get it, but it doesn't. It says where she lost her life after being accidentally burned to death, so that tells me that someone else burned her to death. How is that an accident?
No, they probably did it on purpose, and now they're trying to cover it up.
Yeah, they're trying to say it was an accident. The woman appears as a misty figure who never speaks, simply sits there smoking her pipe. That could be residual as well.
Yeah.
Pub ghouls. The atmospheric pub, the Blacksmith's Arms, boasts not one, but 3 ghosts. Previously called both the Spectre's Arms and the Ghost's Arms because there have been so many hauntings, strange things are still going on beyond its walls to this day. Among the figures who have been sighted in the pub area, there are a Tudor maid, a coachman who gazes longingly at the fire in the public bar, and a cavalier wandering around the upstairs rooms. You've got a Misty Miller, which is that Dicky guy that we were talking about, I think, on one of the other ghosts. Yes, I guess he's said to be haunting it. He closed his mill in 1930, and 9 years later, it was destroyed in a storm when it was struck by lightning. However, it seems Dicky has unfinished business, and his spirit is said to still haunt the windmill. He is normally spotted just before a thunderstorm hits. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's definitely interesting.
Thieving spirits. The Blacksmith's Arms isn't the only haunted I'm reading this correctly how it's written. It literally says the only haunted PU because I forgot to put the B for pub. The Black Horse also has its fair share of ghosts. However, they're a shy set of spirits in this boozer, and while they are cheeky, they've never actually been seen. The pub, which used to be a farmhouse belonging to the local bailiff and was surrounded by a moat, is famous for things magically disappearing from right in front of people. But it seems these ghosts have a conscience because a few days after items disappear, they turn up again. That's interesting. So we had the red lady, now we do have a white lady here as well. St. Nicholas makes its third appearance in the list with a lady in white said to stalk both the church and the library of her old family home, Serendon During. Wait, isn't she the same one with the red from earlier?
Think so.
The grand house was destroyed in a blaze in 1952, but her spirit was reportedly seen by staff from the U.S. Embassy who used property as a base between what? Maybe it's who used the property as a base between World War I and II. One employee even held an all-night vigil one Christmas Eve, and when the lady in white appeared in front of him, he shot her ghost with his rifle.
Wait, what?
I guess he got so scared, so it seems so solid that he shot at it with his rifle. On a Christmas Eve.
That's crazy.
Suicidal Colonel, the second man who took his own life in Pluckley is a colonel who hanged himself in Park Wood. He has been spotted wandering among the trees, even though much of the area has been cleared. His spirit still seems to remain. Poisonous End. Rose Court looks like the perfect quaint English village home. The house is 250 years old but hides a very dark past. Its mistress is said to have taken her own life by eating a handful of poisonous berries. This sounds almost as cursed as the other frickin' place. My goodness, it's like so many suicides.
Yeah, that was big back in the day.
Yeah, it was.
There's also a haunted hunting lodge. So if you thought 2 haunted pubs in one village was enough, you've definitely never visited Pluckley. The Daring Arms used to be a hunting lodge, and it is said to be the home of the ghost of a woman wearing a bonnet. She has been seen by many customers, and her figure is so clear she's even been mistaken for a real drinker.
Huh.
And then lastly, there is the Screaming Woods. The site has become a real tourist trap, with brave souls even choosing to spend the night camping beneath the canopy of trees. There have been numerous reports of the sounds of screaming men and women being heard after dark. They're said to be the sounds of those who died while lost in the... Who died? They're said to be the sounds of those who died while lost in the Misty Woods. Misty Woods, isn't that the name of the forest in freaking Legend of Zelda?
Something like that.
I'm pretty sure it is the Misty Woods. Yeah, so there's definitely a lot of stuff going on at that site. For sure.
Sounds like a fun place to visit.
Here's something about oh my goodness, about Skinwalker Ranch. I'm gonna try and play a video. Hang on, I gotta pause it. Okay, good, didn't play it. I swear, if it starts, it's about to... Okay, it was muted. It started playing some ad. It was interesting to me because it said the Curse of Skinwalker Ranch, where the cattle are drained of blood and giant wolves roam.
Huh.
Is that talking about the Skinwalker? Giant wolf?
I'm wondering if that's like a reference, like, what the movie Skinwalkers was made off of or something.
Yeah, I remember Ghost Adventures going to Skinwalker Ranch. That was actually a good episode. Yeah, it was a good episode. The Curse of Skinwalker. There's a new series called The Curse of Skinwalker Ranch, apparently.
Huh.
A new series examines what exactly is causing the strange incidents at Skinwalker Ranch. I thought there was going to be more info than that, but it's like a really long article that I think it just talks about Skinwalker Ranch.
Probably.
I was trying to find actual sightings, but aside from that little girl that was dancing in a TikTok video, I don't see... But here's one where a shop owner catches a ghost on CCTV, which is like the security camera, moving the crate away from the employee so that she falls. So that was caught on the security camera. What a mean ghost.
Right?
This has absolutely nothing to do with ghosts, but apparently you can now spend the night at Harry Potter's childhood home.
Oh.
A family home stinks of rotten flesh due to a portal to the spiritual world in their lounge.
Oh.
Let's see. Inside the world's scariest haunted house where no one has ever lasted more than 6 hours. Twisted Joker would probably do that.
Yeah.
Ghost girl caught following waitress in Erie pub just before Halloween, so that must be old. A mom can't sleep after seeing a ghost baby in her baby's crib. Oh, I actually see the picture of that. That's freaking terrifying. It says then it's all her husband's fault.
Oh, jeez.
Pictures of ghost children captured in rotting abandoned school on tablet. Chilling moment, dark figure seen lurking in shadows during live ghost hunt. That's the only thing that sucked about your investigation, Leslie, was you saw the face, but it wasn't caught on the camera, which would have been insane.
But, I mean, that's gonna change because now I have 2 cameras. Well, I was waiting on my tripod to come in, so this is gonna be awesome, especially for the editing, putting a split frame and letting it play at the same time.
Right. Apparently there was also a ghost caught on camera knocking food to the ground at a service station.
Sounds angry.
Or playful. It's like, I can't eat this! It just goes right through me!
Yeah.
Brave souls can now have a sleepover inside Britain's most haunted prison.
Nice.
Inside haunted British woods where people burst into tears and want to kill.
Oh, that kind of reminds me of Japan's most haunted forest.
Is that the Suicide Forest?
Yes.
Somebody went there. I don't remember who. Was it did Ghost Adventures go there? It was one of the ghost hunting shows where they went there. And it was another really good episode because I remember there was like Japanese people exploring it. And then like they got like split up from each other and they all got lost. I was like, that is crazy. I was like, man, them Japanese people they saw might have been ghosts. You never know.
They have all the cool haunted locations like overseas.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. A half man, half owl scared off holiday makers. It was filmed in a graveyard.
Ooh, something from the cryptids.
British castle with dark, shadowy figures and floating heads. Floating heads. That reminds me of that Game Chasers channel on YouTube that I told you I watch all the time.
Yeah.
They used to have this dude on there and they would like make his head float and he was just like, I'm a floating head. Whoa. Imagine if a ghost actually said that. Or that scary stories to tell in the dark, that like Go Rainy or whatever the crap it was, the one that's like singing. I would love to see somebody just filming and a ghost head just appears and it's just like, I'm a floating head.
That would be cool. I would laugh. I would just laugh.
It would be hilarious because that would obviously be a very playful ghost. A mom's ghost family helping her anorexia recovery after weight dropped to 5 stones. Haunted doll like Annabelle tells ghost hunter, I want to burn your eyes out.
I want that doll.
I just heard Rebecca react to that in the background. I just heard her go, oh my goodness.
Where's the doll?
Forensic site. I didn't say where it's at. Let me click on it. Maybe it'll tell me. This doll is... Oh my goodness. Ghost hunter Danny Moss of Pick TV's Paranormal Captured in the UK.
Well,
this doll's
everything in the...
All the good stuff is in the UK, apparently. Grace Doll is the name of it, so if you look up Grace Doll, you'll find it. I want to burn your eyes out. Give me a Zippo. I want a real Zippo, Daddy. Give it to me now.
What the hell?
I tried to sound like Veruca Salt from...
Oh, man.
Spooky new holiday tour takes you in search of ghosts and UFOs across the USA.
Oh, there you go.
Earthlings welcome, little alien. Woman finds terrifying cursed object days after moving into new home. Leslie, I think you have to leave, so I'm going to try and cut this short now.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can find one more good one. England's most haunted house estate say it's impossible to sell. You can buy
All right.
everything from haunted dolls to evil spirits on eBay. You can actually buy the evil spirits on eBay.
Interesting.
Ooh, I'm gonna figure out how.
Haunted, 116-year-old doll blinks in ghost hunter's chilling selfie. Oh, here we go. Mexico's island of nightmares is filled with mutilated dolls. Is that the island of the dolls?
Probably in
Because I
Mexico.
know Ghost Adventures went there. Whoa. Black mold in your home can cause terrifying hallucinations of demons and ghosts. Make
Interesting.
sure you check your home for black mold.
Definitely.
A horrified couple spotted a ghostly figure scratching their baby daughter on baby cam.
Jeez.
See, that's where you want to banish that ghost, because, like, screw that ghost, man. Why you gotta attack a frickin' baby, you scumbag?
If it's scratching, it's probably not a ghost.
Well, whatever it is, demon dickhead is what it is. That's what it is. Man tries to torch his neighbor's house in desperate attempt to kill the ghost he saw.
Wow.
Yeah, that's gonna help. It's a freaking ghost, man. My goodness.
Sounded pretty desperate.
Yeah. Everything, this is all, oh, you know why this is all the UK? Because it's the Mirror site, which is the UK website.
Yeah, that would be why.
All right. I think we had fun today. Yeah. So
Definitely.
Make sure you all check out the next episode of Everything But the Podcast, where Leslie will hopefully continue her story. She might have done a second investigation by then, so she may have more evidence to share with us.
Yay.
I don't know if we'll have more weird news next time or not, but I'll try and keep track of stuff every week so that we having stuff to talk about. Thank you everybody for watching. Be sure to check out All Things Paranormal Leslie on YouTube. Be sure to check out my Patreon. Like I said, I plan on doing a lot of exclusive podcasts. Twisted Joker and I plan on possibly doing a pro wrestling podcast, or actually bringing back a pro wrestling podcast I used to do called Tables, Ladders, and Chair Shots. Be on the lookout for that soon. We also plan on still doing the Ultimate Metalverse podcast for all the metalheads out there. We haven't done the episode yet, but we do plan on doing it. I may still do more different podcasts with my wife. I don't know. I have a lot of different things I want to do. So a lot of that will be on Patreon, because I honestly just don't feel like creating constant new podcasts for Spotify and redistributing everything. So sign up for Patreon. You'll get it there. You'll have access to it. You also get access to my entire back catalog. So every episode of Everything But the Podcast ever, you can access if you're a member of my Patreon. You can get, there's a link. One of my posts on there has a link to the Google Drive where you can download all of those episodes, and then you get to keep them for like forever. I mean, you could technically download them anyway on Spotify, but if you don't have Spotify, this is your easiest way to download everything in one lump sum.
Right.
And then I also have the first ever exclusive video to that, where I tried off. I don't know how you try off anything. I tried out some Japanese flavored sodas, and that is my first ever, I still have to upload my freaking videos to YouTube because I can only use YouTube or Vimeo, but I make it unlisted. So Patreon members only are the only ones that can view the videos. So that video is up on Patreon for anybody who's interested in that. Thank you, everybody who listens. Thank you so much for your support. We love and appreciate you all. Don't forget to rate Everything But the Podcast on whatever platforms allow you to rate if you're listening on one of those platforms. Give us a review. We like to check those out and shout out anybody who leaves us reviews. Twisted Joker and I haven't done a shout out in a while because there haven't been any reviews in a while.
For real.
When we get some, we will be sure to leave some. And now you've heard the announcement. Leslie is our official third member. She will not be on every episode as Leslie is very busy, but she did say that she'll try to be on as many as she can. We're going to go week by week, but hopefully Twisted Joker and I can still keep episodes coming even when Leslie is unavailable. If not, I might try to figure out how to get my wife on or do an episode by myself. I don't know. Whatever. Stay Rexy, everybody. And you will hear us all in the next episode.
Bye.
Oh my goodness, I'm still recording.